times, Trump supporters are afraid to come out and speak their opinion because they're attacked.
Coming up on Valley View News, President Trump supporters and impeachment protesters confront each other at the Santa Monica Pier. Plus, 2 deadly hit-and-run crashes near Northridge leave some CSUN students concerned about safety. And one CSUN student-athlete creates a website to help college students buy tickets for local events.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Timothy Tien.
And I'm Ricardo Sandoval.
Thousands of SoCal residents are on edge as they prepare for possible power outages. Dry, hot, and windy conditions are expected throughout this week. SoCal Edison is considering cutting power in several areas to reduce the risk of wildfires. Fire officials determined that the Saddle Ridge fire earlier this month started beneath a SoCal Edison electric tower.
House Republicans will try to force a vote in an attempt to censor Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff, but Democrats will hold a vote to the table bill before it can be voted on. President Trump expressed support for the vote on Twitter. According to the latest Gallup poll, 52% of Americans now support the impeachment and removal of the president. Those numbers are still rising, and some Americans are speaking up.
Santa Monica Pier is usually a fun place to visit, but protests calling for President Trump's impeachment will be held there every Saturday. Let's hear from Valley View News reporter Andrea Tanchez for more on this story.
Santa Monica Beach became the gathering spot for many protesters last weekend. With signs and chants, they called for the impeachment of President Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence. One of the event's organizers, Chantel Hirschberger, says the nation's problems are bigger than just two parties fighting.
They're not playing by the rules anymore, so we can't play by the system's rules. This whole thing is that fascism can be voted in, and history has shown this. Fascism can be voted in, but it cannot be voted out.
Pro-Trump protesters were there to share their side of the story.
For Trump,
Some people waving American flags and Trump 2020 signs decided to join in. Lisa Collins says she wasn't there to be a counter-protester. She wanted to show her support for the president.
There are Americans that love our president, that support what he's doing. We don't agree with everything that he does and says, but he's our president, and he's allowed so many good things to happen for America. So a lot of times Trump supporters are afraid to come out and speak their opinion because they're attacked. So I just am here because I'm not afraid.
As the day went on, the group of protesters became bigger and bigger. Herman Chachik says he was just on his lunch break. He came to see what the commotion was all about and decided to join.
Look at all those children that were crossing the border with their parents that got separated. I don't think it's fair. So as soon as I seen that, I'm gonna sure work today like this, the whole day walking with this. So that's the whole reason I stopped by.
The Say No to Fascism organization say they plan to gather here every weekend, and today was just the beginning. Reporting for Valley View News in Santa Monica, I'm Andrea Tanchez.
Also during that protest Saturday at the Santa Monica Pier, a 34-year-old man was arrested for dousing demonstrators with bear spray. Police say David Nicholas Dempsey was held overnight without bail for violating his parole and for using a tear gas weapon. He was also seen walking up to a man laying on the ground and sprayed him directly in the face. He's scheduled to appear in court this week.
Santa Monica police responded to reports that a man allegedly shot into an occupied car last night. The unidentified suspect ran towards the beach with a handgun. Police decided to open fire on him. Police say he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
There's been a rise in hit-and-run accidents around the CSUN community that's left students feeling worried. Over the weekend, there were 2 separate accidents near the campus in North Hills that killed a man and woman, both in their 50s. Members of the CSUN community expressed their concerns over the latest accidents.
I honestly think the best way is to design the environment or the infrastructure that relates to cars and bikes, to design the roads basically so that they're more conducive to both car and safe for both cars and bikes. For instance, having a separate bike lane, for instance, making the roads safer, etc.
Yeah, well, to me, it's actually very scary just because I am on campus majority of the day, and you just never know when someone's just gonna get close to hitting you because you're crossing the street, you're waiting for the light, and a lot of these street lights don't have the green arrow, which I would want at every light near CSUN campus because those would actually be very helpful.
Students are advised to be extra careful, especially when out at night.
A criminal complaint led LA police to discover that some people were paying $800 a month to live in an abandoned church. The conditions were horrible. 40 people lived there with no gas, water, or electricity. The place was filled with roaches, dirty dishes, and rotten food. Police say some people didn't leave the church because they had nowhere else to go.
Thousands marched in the streets of downtown LA Sunday after the 35th annual AIDS Walk. They were raising money for APLA Health and other AIDS-related charities. APLA Health provides health care to people with HIV. It has 16 centers across LA County.
The two cranes being used when the Hard Rock Hotel partially collapsed in New Orleans were demolished. Destroying them let crews remove 2 bodies still in the debris. Officials knew where the bodies were, but the cranes were in the way. Fire Superintendent Timothy McConnell says the demolition went as planned. He also says now demolition of the site will continue.
A tornado touched down in northern Dallas late Sunday night. It dropped in a populated part of the city. Buildings were ravaged along with utility poles and several homes. 6 schools canceled classes for Monday, and 50,000 people were left without power. Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson says they're fortunate no one died.
NASA scientists say the hole in the Earth's ozone layer is the smallest since the 1980s. They said even though it's the smallest on record, it doesn't mean the ozone is fixed. NASA says the ozone layer serves as the Earth's sunscreen. It blocks the sun's ultraviolet radiation and keeps the Earth livable. But they say the healing process may take decades.
California Governor Gavin Newsom said he's pardoning 3 more immigrants. The immigrants were facing deportation. Newsom says the 3 made bad decisions in their lives, but have since changed. He said deportation would also harm their families and communities.
A high school coach is being celebrated as a hero. He kept a student from using a shotgun at school. Portland, Oregon police say Angel Granados Diaz walked into his high school with a shotgun in May. He planned to kill himself. Newly released surveillance video shows Coach Keenan Lowe disarming Granados Diaz. Early reports say Keenan tackled the student, but surveillance shows otherwise. Keenan actually embraced Granados and comforted him. Officials say the student had no intention of harming anyone other than himself. He was sentenced to 3 years probation. He'll also get mental health and substance abuse treatment. Anna, I hear some new movies came out over the weekend. Do you mind getting us up to speed?
Yes, Timothy, the entertainment world has been crazy, but let me tell you who took the top spots in the box office. Maleficent Mistress of Evil took the box office lead during the weekend. The dramatic sequel featuring Angelina Jolie made $36 million. Joker dropped to second place, making $29 million, and Zombieland Double Tap stayed in third, making close to $27 million. It's expected that Maleficent and Joker will remain in the same places for the coming weekend. And Steve Harvey's stepdaughter, Lori, was arrested for a hit and run. Police say the 22-year-old hit a parked vehicle in Beverly Hills Sunday. She faces 2 counts of misdemeanor, hit and run, and a delay in a police investigation. And Kanye West said the release date for his new album, Jesus is King, is October 25th. The rapper announced the news on Twitter along with an image of a blue vinyl record stamp. He missed his initial September 27 release date. He wanted to make it better. His IMAX movie by the same name will be released the same day this month. And Joker fans are going crazy over some stairways in the Bronx, New York. Many are visiting the famous stairways featured in the movie. They are mimicking the Joker pose in Instagram pictures. The stairs are quickly becoming the next big attraction in the Big Apple. And Jennifer Lawrence got married. The Hunger Games star married Cook Maroney in a dreamy ceremony in Rhode Island Saturday. Lawrence and Maroney dated for about a year. The actress said they knew they were meant for each other. Vogue magazine says Lawrence wore a Dior gown. Celebrities like Emma Stone, Adele, and Kris Jenner attended the ceremony. And if you ever dreamed about hanging out with Dora the Explorer or SpongeBob, then your dreams are about to come true. Nickelodeon is opening its own theme park. Nickelodeon Universe will be the largest indoor theme park in North America at 8.5 acres. The park has more than 35 rides, roller coasters, and other attractions. And of course, There will also be a Nickelodeon's Lime Stage. Nickelodeon Universe opens on October 25th at the American Dream Mall in New Jersey. And that's all for entertainment news. I'm Ana Ramos. Back to you guys.
The Sundial has an interesting week coming up. Here's Andrea Esparza with details.
Thank you. In recent news, former CSUN soccer player Davis Moreno Jaime was convicted of rape and sentenced to 8 years in prison. In regard to the Sundial, our new issue will focus on religion. It's available this Wednesday, and make sure to tune in online for new and updated content. Thank you. Back to you.
More to come on Valley View News. Playing soccer could increase your chances of developing dementia.
And college students in India were forced to wear cardboard boxes on their heads. Find out why next.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
When you're running your own business and taking care of your disabled brother, you tend to learn about responsibility pretty quickly.
Did you make the transfer to Hong Kong for the Emerson project?
I was just about to, but did you see the boss's email? It doesn't look right.
It looked fine to me.
I don't remember him mentioning the Emerson project at our last meeting.
The bank in Hong Kong closes in 15 minutes. Make the transfer.
Yes, sir. It's on the way.
Mr. Jacobs, just transferred the money for the Emerson project.
What Emerson project?
Don't be that guy. Trust but verify.
As usual, there's a lot going on around the world. Here's Carissa Preciado with details from our Digital Media Center.
The withdrawal of U.S. troops from Syria saw hundreds of trucks carrying American soldiers. They'll be moving to western Iraq. However, U.S. officials say some soldiers will protect Iraqi oil fields.
Take weeks, not days. Until that time, our forces will remain in the towns that are located near the oil fields. The purpose of those forces, working with the SDF, is to deny access to those oil fields by ISIS and others who may benefit from their revenues that could be earned.
They'll also perform anti-ISIS missions. Massive protests forced the Lebanese government to make big changes to its 2020 budget. Prime Minister Saad Hariri announced the reforms this morning. The government will also raise $3.4 billion by taxing the banks. The plan also includes slashing the salaries of Lebanon's 3 heads of state. Officials say the plan got mixed reactions. Angry citizen protests were the biggest protest in 10 years. In India, some students are wearing cardboard boxes over their heads during exams to avoid cheating. An Indian school apologized after photos went viral. Bhagat Pre-University College faced criticism on social media. The school said the idea was just a trial run. The front of the boxes were cut open, allowing students to only see their desks and exam sheets. What started as a student-led protest against a 4% rise in subway fares turned into a violent protest in Chile. Chile declared a state of emergency. Santiago Governor Carla Rubilar says 11 people died. Demonstrators set to fire subway stations, banks, supermarkets, and other buildings. Chileans are also protesting the price of electricity, water, and medicine. General Javier Utiera enforced a curfew from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau might lose his position just after one term. Polls showed Trudeau's Liberal Party could lose to rival Conservatives. Conservatives say if Trudeau wins, then he will still have a hard time getting a majority in Parliament. But if conservatives win the most seats, then Trudeau's Liberals will have to rely on the New Democrats to stay in power. In 2015, Trudeau was credited with bringing Liberals back to power in Canada. U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper arrived to Saudi Arabia today, but tensions are high. U.S.-Iran tensions have risen since May of 2018. The Trump administration withdrew from a 2015 international nuclear deal with Tehran. Esper is expected to meet King Salman and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. This visit is partly meant to reassure Riyadh over bilateral ties. That's all for international news. Now back to the studio.
The demand by college students for tickets to concerts and sporting events has led to more business for ticket sales sites. Valley View News reporter Luis Zuniga spoke to a CSUN baseball player who launched his own site with a little twist.
Being a college student athlete isn't easy. Neither is starting a business. However, CSUN baseball player Stone Schiffman managed to launch University and Me, a ticket sales site.
Basically a ticket website that benefits colleges whenever you want to get a ticket to a concert, a sporting event, anything you think of.
The site launched in July. Schiffman says the idea was in the works since April. He says it arose from the lack of funding for a renovated CSUN baseball stadium. In 2017, CSUN unveiled a $15 million renovation project to construct Irv Zackheim Stadium.
And we didn't have enough money to get it, and so why not make like a little fundraiser.
Schiffman's site generates revenue from sales just like StubHub and Ticketmaster. But there's one key difference. With a valid school email, a percentage of the money spent is donated to your university's athletic program. The amount donated is based on money spent per purchase. And while some CSUN students like Christian Urrutia think this is great,
I like it. Yeah, because it's going to bring funds to the school.
Others, like Chelsea Reyes, say the money should go to departments needing more funding and resources.
If at least they would divide the percentage that the athletic department is getting and distribute that into other departments.
It is important to note that per NCAA rules, Schiffman can't receive a single dollar for his website until after he's done with school here at CSUN. However, University and Me app is set to launch sometime in December. Reporting from Northridge for Valley View News, I'm Luis Zuniga.
A new study by the Annals of Internal Medicine indicates that people should not decrease consuming unprocessed and processed meat. Valley View News reporter Isa Garcia has more on the story.
A research study in the Annals of Internal Medicine shows that people shouldn't cut down eating unprocessed and processed meat. Ziggy Hernandez is a business owner and meat seller who says in the past 15 years, sales of meat have increased.
An average from 8 to 10%, and in summer we've seen increases up to 20-25% in sales in red meat.
Meat isn't the only way to consume protein. Rosalia Garcia Torres, assistant professor of food and consumer science at CSUN, favors consuming less meat. She says people can get more benefits from plant-based protein,
fiber, and other nutrients. And meat gives you proteins too, but it also increases your risk of cardiovascular disease.
Eating too much meat poses a high risk of heart disease, weight gain, and cancer. Still, some people can resist eating red meat. Ziggy says the most popular meat is carne ranchera because of its irresistible flavor.
It's known as flat meat, and that's perfect for carne asadas and grilling, and it's sold all year long, even in the cold days.
If you are a meat lover, it's important to start incorporating more green foods in your plate. Reporting from Culver City for Valley View News, I'm Isa Garcia.
A study done on professional soccer players showed a link between head injuries and dementia. Researchers at the University of Glasgow found soccer players are 3.5 times more likely to die from dementia compared to the general public. At CSUN, soccer players are Division I athletes.
It's not too surprising to me that it links to dementia because I can imagine with complete injuries over time, it's going to cause something like that.
But I don't think it would change like my thoughts about it. Like I would still let my kids play soccer. My little brother is 5 and he just started playing soccer, and I think it's probably one of the safer sports.
Regardless, some students still see soccer as the safest overall choice.
Here at CSUN, you can train and learn about martial arts. Valley View News reporter Alfonso Larry visited the CSUN Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Club.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is becoming popular for people moving into combat sports. The art of grappling now attracts everyday Americans and even some celebrities. CSUN has a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu club. It lets students practice and learn new techniques. Instructor Eric Medina trains under Jean-Jacques Machado.
Watch them get sharper and increase in their technical abilities, and see them progress as martial artists as students as well. Just like that, okay?
The art of Jiu-Jitsu is on the uprise, not only in the U.S., but globally. Eric gives insight on how other countries incorporate Jiu-Jitsu in their institutions.
There are some countries, like I believe Dubai and the United Arab Emirates, that actually have Jiu-Jitsu in their high school curriculum for like PE and stuff like that.
The club participates in collegiate events and extracurricular events off campus. Funding for the club can be challenging, but not impossible. It's not an official sport under the NCAA, so the group is supported by member payments and fundraisers. President of the club, Dylan Cobb, explains how.
Since we're growing, we've been getting more money in, which means we're able to spend more money on better merchandise, like some more gis or maybe rash guards with our logos on them.
He began as a freshman, as his roommates were previous members.
It's all like one motion.
Now, the continuous support from the group members will allow for future events.
We have some really solid students, and we want to get out there more.
The last day to enroll for the club is October 22nd. Otherwise, you would have to wait until spring. Reporting from Northridge, this is Alfonso Larry for Valley View News.
A $260 million lawsuit was settled stemming from the opioid crisis. 3 of the country's largest drug distributors and a major drug maker came to an agreement with 2 Ohio counties. The deal came just hours before a scheduled trial was to start. Cuyahoga County officials say this was a step in the right direction.
It's definitely not adequate for all the things that need to be done to fix this problem, but it goes a long way. It gives us hope.
The trial involving Cuyahoga County and Akron Summit County was seen as a test case for nationwide drug industry settlements.
Some vape users in Salt Lake City, Utah, have developed a mysterious lung illness. Also, health officials say a device called YOLO killed more than 50 people. YOLO claims it delivers a jolt of synthetic marijuana, but officials say it also causes hallucinations and seizures. Synthetic marijuana is made for a fraction of the cost of CBD. The person behind YOLO, Janelle Thompson, was previously working in the vaping industry. Utah's Bureau of Investigation is looking into the case. Coming up on Valley View News, Apple plans to release AirPods Pro.
Also, Kellogg launches a special edition cereal box for their anti-bullying campaign. Stay with us.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? Well, now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking, now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
A stadium in Inglewood is impacting the rent in some local businesses. Here's Valley View News reporter Grissel with more.
Football is coming to the city of Inglewood. Some might say it's an exciting thing. For some, it might be a disadvantage. Due to gentrification, some residents have to leave the city by force, not by choice.
Residents and small business owners in the city of Champion seem defeated as the Rams Stadium is being built in front of them. Local stores such as the Wood Class owned by Jesus Gonzalez have been negatively impacted by this huge project.
For a business, there's no rent control. So I used to pay $1,200 and now I pay $3,400.
The Wood Class is a small clothing shop that was established in 2011. In there, you can find clothing based on the city of Inglewood. Gonzalez created this shop because he takes pride in his city. His business has been successful, but now he fears soon he'll have to relocate.
I'm still kind of like in the middle waiting to figure it out. Because I'm not sure, maybe they'll sell the property where I'm at right now. We're right in front of the stadium.
The biggest challenges Inglewood residents have faced are rising rent prices. Rent has doubled for some in a matter of months and they're unable to afford it. Because of this, residents like Rocio Mendez are forced to leave the place they've called home for many years.
Since property value increased, that means my rent increased. Most of my neighbors are moving out, including myself, and many may think that this may benefit the community, but in reality, it's only benefiting the rich.
That's all I have for you guys today. Let's go to social media and tech with you, Rudy.
Thank you, Griselle. One of Apple's most popular products might get a big brother. Apple is expected to release AirPods Pro later this month. It will sport a new metal design to support noise cancellation, advanced sound quality, and a hefty $260 price tag. Several reports have suggested these new AirPods will include water resistance for gym and vacation use. The latest version of AirPods currently start at $160. Chick-fil-A announced it's closing a location in the United Kingdom. The UK location will close within 6 months. The news came after an LGBTQ group held a protest outside the brand new restaurant. They were protesting the company's opposition to same-sex marriage. Activists waved rainbow flags and used microphones to announce that Chick-fil-A is not welcome to the UK. Kellogg's and Glad are mixing popular cereals and mascots in the same box. The new mixer is not just a kid's breakfast dream, it's an anti-bullying campaign. Kellogg's is partnering with LGBTQ media advocacy group GLAD to support anti-bullying. Altogether cereal is available for a limited time in honor of Spirit Day that has millions of people across the nation wearing purple to stand up against bullying. Dunkin' Donuts is launching its Beyond Meat breakfast sandwich nationally starting in November. The company was originally planning on launching its plant-based breakfast sandwich in January, but now plans to launch early next month. The sandwich had a successful test earlier this summer in New York. It was a top-selling sandwich. Samsung issued a warning for its high-tech fingerprint reader. Galaxy S10 and Galaxy Note owners are told to remove their screen protectors at least until Samsung releases a new software update. The smartphones can be fooled by finger residue left on the screen protector. The company also says consumers should stay away from certain silicone cases. That's it for social media and tech news. Timothy, back to you.
The Smithsonian's National Zoo is sadly saying bye-bye to Bebe. Bebe is one of 3 giant pandas at the zoo. He's scheduled to move to China on November 19th. The move is part of an agreement with the China Wildlife Conservation Association. Any giant panda cub born at a U.S. zoo has to be sent to a breeding program in China after their 4th birthday. The zoo is hosting a farewell celebration from November 11th to November 18th. That's all for us at Valley View News. Thank you for watching. I'm Timothy Tien.
And I'm Ricardo Sandoval. For any news, any time of the day, go to our website, sundial.csun.edu. See you next week.